Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present Lone Star Nation, How Texas Will Transform America by Richard Parker, narrated by Tom Stechschulte.
Forward. Growing up in Texas left me with lots of memories, but one clear-cut impression. Nothing much ever seemed to happen here. Admittedly, the places in which I grew up, first Laredo and then El Paso, both on the muddy Rio Grande that demarks the United States from Mexico, probably heightened that sensation. El Paso in particular felt isolated, like a place at the end of the world. When I considered the things I saw, say, on television or heard about on the radio or glimpsed in the occasional newspaper, it seemed as life was happening not here, but instead somewhere out there. My father traveled a lot for work. His plane tickets read Chicago, New York, Miami, Port-au-Prince, Mexico City, and Santiago. What was going definitely seemed out there. By the time I had reached high school, I was quite sure that nothing of note ever happened in Texas. I rode the bus to school and on the radio heard snippets about Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and the death of Pope Paul VI. The bands of the era, a bizarre concoction of pre-punk, long hair, glam rock, southern rock, and Canadians like Styx, Journey, Sammy Hagar, Loverboy, and 38 Special, occasionally played but seemed to prefer the air-conditioned Pan Am Center. Up Interstate 10 in Little Las Cruces to the dusty cow palace that was the El Paso County Coliseum. Social life was stratified into the popular kids who were as often as not well off, the athletes who were as often as not popular, the cowboys, the stoners, and the Mexicans who clung to their particular cultures. Oh, and then there was the band. The whole thing seemed to revolve around that great West Texas ritual, high school football. That was something I tried by the time spring training rolled around at the end of my freshman year. Having played before coming to my 5A high school, a place with over 2,000 students, I realized the currency of being on the team. You were somebody. You fit in. You got to wear your game jersey on Fridays. Yet that grueling spring training in the soaring heat, frequently face down in the dust, screamed at by coaches and gulping salt pills instead of water, as was the practice of the time, was probably a good lesson in the importance of the sacrificial devotion to sport itself, regardless of the outcome. It also left me with a shoulder injury after being hit by a varsity lineman who outweighed me by twice as much. I knew this as he fell on me. That would mark my return to the hard metal seats of the stands. Watching was enough. It was tradition, after all, to devote a Friday night to the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?